The box office is back this holiday season. I'm so excited for Moana 2. Families all across the world are going to love it. I can't wait to see it. I'm talking with Indianapolis native and layout artist John Hasbrook. So John, tell us, what is a layout artist? What is it? What is your process like and part of making Moana 2?
Hi, Trevor. Thanks for having me. Layout artist is the cinematographer and visual storyteller of the film, and we have a huge department here. And we take storyboards, we work with art, and we put it all together and translate that into the 3D space. So that could be crafting the action sequence, intimate moment, or all the above. So I was privileged to work on A Quiet Moment with Moana and her sister. I also do action sequences. So it kind of runs the gamut of the whole story, but bringing that into the 3D space.
So exciting. And tell us about your background. Obviously, you're from here in Indianapolis. I got that little tidbit before starting. Tell us about growing up in Indianapolis and what led you to where you are today.
Yeah, I grew up in Indianapolis drawing every day and trying to picture an art career. And my dad is a doctor, so I kind of went that path, and that made sense to me. But I wrote a letter when I was 11 to Walt Disney Animation Studios in Burbank saying I want to work there, and I got a letter back saying, thanks for your interest. We make the films for people like you. Here's the type of jobs we have: animator, layout artist, and here's a bunch of books, reading list. And I felt like that letter was to me. I realize now it's a form letter. It goes out to a lot of people, but it felt like that was to me, inspired me to pursue this dream. And then I finally went to Indiana University to be a doctor and transferred after a couple months. I realized I want to follow this dream. And it was 27 years later from the letter I got back, I started at the studio.
It was an incredible full circle moment. How did you get your start at Disney?
I started on Encanto actually during the pandemic, but it's like a true dream come true. Every day is a pinch me moment, working on these films and thinking that I may be inspiring the next generations. Like I was inspired. I saw Aladdin and I wrote that letter after seeing Aladdin. I grew up, I have two sisters. We watched all the movies growing up, but Aladdin was the one that really set me on this path. And to be able to work on movies like Moana 2, and people love this film. Audiences are there. I have two young children that are excited to see the film. So it's been a great ride.
Super exciting time for Disney. These films like Moana, like Encanto that you mentioned, have really brought back the Disney brand, this classic animation like films you said, Aladdin, the ones I grew up on, Lion King, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast. But my sister and I kind of argue. She has a young boy and she says, I like Encanto and Moana better than those. And I'm like, well, I don't have a young kid, so I don't relate to them as much. But these movies are back with this huge Disney brand and the heart and soul that everyone loves. What about that is exciting to you as being part of Disney?
Yeah, it's just like I said, the audiences love this character. I have a young daughter, I have a son. I see the shirts, I see the backpacks. We go to Disneyland, we see the people that, lines formed around meeting Moana. So we know this is a love character, and to be a part, again, is a pinch me moment that I could be a part of continuing her story. And this is an epic adventure like she's never faced before. So to be able to have a hand in that storytelling has been amazing. And to work with this legendary studio and crew, and most of the crew on this film worked on the first film. So it's kind of fun to kind of relive the stories and, oh, you did this sequence and you did that shot, or talking about how our technology has progressed through the storm, through the waves and the ropes and and the hair looks as beautiful as ever, the environments, the flora and fauna, and just, it's amazing.
Such a beautiful film to see. Obviously, it's animated, but catch us up where we're at. What can we expect in Moana 2? Where does the story go? Because it's been a while since we saw the first Moana on the big screen.
Yeah, this story picks up a few years after the first film, but after an unexpected call from her wayfinding ancestors, she's called on a journey, has to reunite with Maui and build her crew to go out to the far seas and face an adventure like she's never faced before. So it's an epic ride. It was exciting and entertaining to work on, and we know it's exciting. It's going to entertain audiences. Has a little bit of everything for all ages.
That's great to hear about the preview of the movie. And the voice cast, I mean, is next to none. Auli'i, Carvalho, Dwayne Johnson, I mean, leading this film. That's obvious. Audiences obviously love both of them. What's it like working with them? Even though it's an animated film, you're still credited with working with them.
Yeah, and working with their voice talent is amazing, and their singing voices. I got to work on a song, which again feels like a privilege to be able to work on a Disney song. It's very fun, very entertaining, and the voice talent has all returned. We have new characters, obviously, with new voices, but the core cast is there. The singing talent is unbelievable, and there's 8 new songs that audiences will love.
Can't wait to hear all these new songs in the movie. I try to limit myself to listening beforehand so I can get that first experience in the movie. And these ones, the first one we obviously knew Lin-Manuel Miranda helped write, but this one it's a whole new cast of songwriters. What's it like? What can you preview about these new songs that we're gonna hear?
Yeah, we have a super talented duo, Barlow and Bear, and they knocked it out of the park. It's unbelievable songs, so powerful. They performed in our studio for us. They're highly talented, amazing singers, vocalists, but on the piano, I grew up playing piano. So to watch someone play piano like that and to sing these ballads live at your work is pretty amazing. So I've heard them sing live several times and so impressive, and their talent and their songwriting is amazing. So the world will soon hear their songs.
Looking forward to hearing those. And this movie was pretty fast tracked. Once it was announced that, okay, a sequel is coming, it moved pretty quickly through the process. But I feel like that's because there was already developments of the story. They were thinking, okay, it's going to be a TV series on Disney Plus, and then it was moved to a movie. What was your involvement in possibly being on the series to then the sequel? What was that like?
Oh, I started on it as it was a film, but as they were developing it, at the team, the leadership team realized we have something to be seen on the big screens. That's what inspired me to want to work here and write that letter. So everyone should see this film on the biggest screen possible with the audience, that communal experience of sharing the film, hearing people laugh and be excited together there's nothing like that. So everyone should see it.
You're certainly right. I've already seen projections on what the box office is going to happen. It looks like it's going to be a record-breaking weekend for Thanksgiving holiday weekend. And I want to ask you about another project you worked on. You were the director of cinematography for Once Upon a Studio. I remember being so excited to watch that because that is my childhood in an animated short, just all of these incredible Disney characters coming together for this one short. It was so, so good. What was your involvement in that, and how did you come about doing that?
Yeah, I was privileged to interview and be chosen as a director of cinematography for that. And it was again a pinch me moment to work with the legends. That the animator of the genie is Eric Goldberg in Aladdin, that inspired me to want to work at the studio. And now I'm a leader with him in meetings and working together, collaborating. Like he's interested in my opinion about the cinematography, about live action shoot. We shot live action plates in our actual studio. So we were bringing the animated characters to life coming out of the walls of our studio. So it was kind of a mixture of my background in animation and live action, where we had a 3D version of our studio and filmed all these locations and had the characters come out of real life. I actually have a cameo in the beginning of the film, leaving the studio that night before the characters come out.
That is so cool. I am going to tell people, if you have not seen Once Upon a Studio, make sure you watch it on Disney Plus because it gives you all the feels. It brings back the nostalgia. It brings back all those great memories. So here we come with Moana 2. What is next for you with Disney? Obviously, it's got to be Disney. Like Disney is doing wonders for this world right now.
Yeah, I'm actually supervising a team right now on an upcoming project, but everything is amazing. Like all the just to be able to work with this team, like I said, it's full of legends. The layout artists in the offices next to me have been there 27 and 35 years, have been at this company. So they were here, they talk about Hunchback of Notre Dame and talk about all these films that I grew up watching. So again, it's amazing that knowledge is here. And the leaders of our team, again, they worked on Moana. my director of cinematography worked on the first film and very passionate about it. And just be able to collaborate with all these artists, and everyone has their strengths, and we all come together to make the best possible. Every frame of this movie has been so, crafted with so much heart and intention to make the most entertaining, best storytelling possible.
Could certainly see that on screen with how Moana is done. What advice? Obviously, people are going to say, follow your dreams, chase your dreams, but just because it's said so much doesn't necessarily mean it's a cliche. Obviously, that came true for you after getting this letter when you saw Aladdin and writing to the studio, whether it be a stock letter or something, you trusted that instinct and followed your heart. What do you want to say to young people who have these dreams of following their passions?
I would say you got to go for it, and my advice would be to draw. I was drawing every day. I was inspired by art. I loved animation. I love the 80s Saturday morning cartoons. Like I love film and just all of that. I just live film storytelling. So I just think if you want to do something, you can do it. This is a good example of a dream coming true. I live my dream every day. And even talking to you now, it feels surreal that I'm talking about Moana 2, that I worked on once upon a studio for a 100-year celebration of our studio. And I'm a part of hopefully inspiring the next generation.
You're certainly inspiring Hoosiers. It's so great to see. Do you have any family back home in Indiana that you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, my whole family is there. I'm gonna treat my sister and my nieces and nephews to the movie Thanksgiving weekend.
That's so awesome. I'm going to see it with my family Thanksgiving weekend. Make sure you see Moana 2 on the biggest screen possible, like he said, November 27th. Thank you so much, John.
Thank you.